Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Now the left and the right pot that you see only hold one plant, but the one in the middle is a different story. It holds a Philodendron red, a Philodendron asperum and also a Philodendron burly Marx arrowy type, all co-housing together. So in today's video I would like to show you 12 co-housing projects for houseplants. So without further ado, let's have a closer look together. In this first container, 6 houseplants are co-housing. The strappy long leaves belong to 2 Philodendron Begonia cuttings. Then we also got a Philodendron pedatum in the same container. You can also spot an epipremnum Cebu blue. And finally the 2 heart-shaped leaves on the bottom left belong to a burly Marx Philodendron. And even though it's winter time, this Philodendron pedatum keeps on producing new leaves. Now, luckily, it's a sunny day, so you can see how my plants cast a beautiful shadow against my living room wall. Next up is this co-housing project that I cannot move anymore, and in a second you will see why. On the bottom left you can spot a Pothos N'joy that is almost being kicked out of the container by this savage Syngonium angustatum. And it's clear that this Syngonium is just enjoying its best life, and it has even attached itself to my wall with these very big aerial roots. From time to time I cut it back and propagate the cuttings, and each time it climbs right up the wall again. Next up is this co-housing project with first of all the beautiful variegation of a Philodendron medisa. We also got in the same container a burly Marx Philodendron and finally also a Philodendron pedatum. And all these plants are actually cuttings that I took, and in almost each container it's the Philodendron pedatum that's the most vigorous grower. Now at this time these 3 plants have a different height, but in time they should all grow to the same height and intertwine. Container number 4 is definitely one of my favorites. First of all, we got a somewhat unusual guest with this very healthy Begonia plant. And there is also once again an epipremnum Cebu blue. The third plant with the small variegated leaves is a Monstera standleyana variegata white, aka my nemesis plant. And finally there is also a golden pothos in this container. Next up is a duo co-housing container with first of all a golden pothos cutting, and at the back you can also spot a very small cutting of a Philodendron micans. And here you can see that the micans is actually using the pothos as a trellis. I call this growing epiphytes on epiphytes, and I got a whole series on my channel about this. In this big and round container we have 3 lodgers. First of all, once again, we got a Philodendron pedatum. Next we got yet another Monstera standleyana variegata white. And finally we also got a Philodendron red emerald that you can see on the left. And I have to say I love putting several plant species cuttings together to create a different plant display each time. Next up is a hanging co-housing project with first of all a Pothos N'joy living together with a Philodendron Brazil. I really like how the top half of this display is the Philodendron Brazil, whereas the bottom half is mainly the Pothos N'joy. Next up we got what currently has to be my tallest mixed container. This display has a total of 6 houseplants, and as an experiment I put some random spider plants at the bottom of this container. If you look closely you can also spot on the left and the right some juvenile leaves of a Philodendron lacerum F. And crawling all the way up, you can also see a Philodendron micans. The fastest climber in this container is a Philodendron burly Marx arrowy type that has reached the top of the bamboo stick. This container comes not only with a lot of sun but also with a moss pole. First of all, we got a Philodendron painted lady, and we also have once again an Epipremnum Cebu blue. We also got a sad golden Pothos midget at the bottom, and clearly the moss pole causes the plants to produce many more leaves. This leaf here doesn't belong to our micans, it's actually a juvenile leaf of a Philodendron camposportoanum. And finally we got another tiny golden pothos. Okay, so far I showed you 9 containers, we have 3 more to go. In container number 10 we got one of my favorite philodendrons, which is the Philodendron undulatum 1, showing off its thick heart-shaped leaves right here. Of course, there is also a Philodendron pedatum growing in this container. It's a plant that grows like a weed. And finally, at the bottom, we got a tiny Cebu blue cutting. You can see that I often use these black plastic containers that are not really big, but they are very deep, so the roots get plenty of space. Next to my ficus ginseng, we got our final mixed container. First of all, at the bottom, we got 2 very sad and agonizing Philodendron cuttings, but the higher we go, the better it gets. Midway, we encounter this beautiful Philodendron golden dragon that has really attached itself to the moss pole. And this thick stem is no other than this very meaty Philodendron giganteum. I have to say I really like how this giganteum only appears at the very top of this display. And I can only hope that in time the golden dragon will fill out this moss pole. Okay, there's actually one final co-housing project with first of all a very long and also bare stem that turns out to be a beautiful begonia. And the second bare stem in this container is no other than the purple passion plant. Okay, that's all for the 12 different co-housing projects that I wanted to show you today. Let me know in the comment section whether you also mix different cuttings in one single container. Also, please consider liking the video if you enjoyed it and or subscribing to my channel. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you a very nice day and I hope to see you back real soon on my channel. Bye bye.